stories about my reluctant and I would say courageous journey into understanding my emotions and what I learned. I'm super grateful for the question you guys asked because they help guide me on this fantastic journey. This week's topic came from Rami, who wanted to know how to surrender, which means this week's topic, what I actually turned it into, is why I surrendered when I wanted to feel powerful. In the first video, I talked about a time when I thought I needed to be in control and how I got through it. In the next video, I talked about when I started to realize that surrendering might be helpful. In this video, I'm going to focus on a time I used serenity when things got tough. The next video will be meditation, and then on Friday we'll have the Fridity, where I pull it all together and I get a little more poetic and a little more nerdy and make sense of the journey. All these videos will appear in the playlist Why I Surrendered When I Wanted to Feel Powerful. So, if you have a question, like Rami did, comment below or DM me on Instagram. I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself. So, the question I'm starting with is, what was it like when you knew about surrender and something tough came up? Well, I would love to tell you that something tough came up and I immediately surrendered. That is not true. That is not how it works. I think the first time after I started to realize that I needed to surrender, it was, and it may have been like more on a continuum, like little things. But usually what would happen for me is I'm going to call it picking up the rope. So let's say a problem's coming at me and I kind of take it into my thoughts and in my actions and things like that, and I hang on to it. So for me, that's called picking up the rope. And what would happen is I would get, I don't know, maybe a few days, weeks, probably at first when I went, wow, hold on. So at first, when I'm recognizing that I'm in this mess or I'm in this tough or hard spot and I'm wanting to control it, it wasn't until after that experience was over that I would realize, oh, gosh, I probably could have been a little more relaxed. I could have surrendered in this moment. But what I noticed was that those moments started getting closer and closer together. So maybe the first time it's a month. It took me a month to figure it out. Maybe, or longer, right? Maybe at one point in my life it was a year. And then I go, oh, I could have done that. Would have been so much easier if I just learned to surrender and find joy throughout that year. That would have been great. But the next time, maybe it's only 6 months. And the next time, maybe, a month, and then a week, and then a day, and then finally I start catching it when I'm picking it up. So what I've started to notice is that when I start to pick up that tension or that challenge, that feeling inside of me, I start to recognize it and I go, oh, this might be one of those things that I need to surrender. And I think for me, it helps that I try to remind myself that every next moment is unexpected. So it becomes easier to surrender to what's happening and be present in the moment. But that's not always easy. So the first challenge that I overcame, I remember it felt like so much was coming at me at the same time. And I walked out and I just started laughing. It was like, oh, one more thing. It's like, almost one of those am I going crazy laughs. But I think that it's important to recognize that sometimes that's what it feels like when really hard things or things I want to fix or things I want to control are coming at me. And if things would just go the way that I think they should, then they'll get better. And then I try to make that happen. And that's when I get myself in trouble. So remembering that even if I pick up that rope, that I can surrender. Now, how do I know when I surrender? I think there's a sense of peace. I'm more relaxed, and I notice a change in my meditations. So I use heart rhythm meditation, and what I've noticed is that when I'm not surrendering, that my my mind is full of thoughts about whatever it is that I think I need to control, or this challenge that's come upon me. So that's when I have to go back to basics and just really work on focusing on imagining breathing in and out of my heart. And sometimes I need to get even more basic than that and just watch the thoughts float by as I breathe. And remember that they are just thoughts. I don't have to trust them. Because the reality of it is, we have 60,000 thoughts a day, statistically speaking. And chances are that not all of those thoughts are true. Where did I pick up this thought? What is it? What am I feeling inside of my body? Because what I've also noticed is that if I'm not feeling well, or if my pain is really high in that particular moment, that any one thought comes to me, especially if it's related to a challenge or something where I've wanted to control or fix, then what will happen is I will pick up that thought and I will follow it, and it's almost like I start getting more and more tense. So sometimes I don't even notice until I'm tense and I go, oh, I just followed that thought. And then I have to go back. And then it's back to the meditation, back to the surrender. And usually I feel like I can do a pretty good job. Sometimes I can't, though. And I just have to acknowledge that those are those moments where I've just got to experience the emotion and let it be. Like, there's something, at least for me, that has been really important in letting the emotion exist and not fighting against it, surrendering to the emotion, even when it's uncomfortable. And when I say surrender, for me, what I mean is just letting it exist. I don't mean like surrender to the need to control, to the need to find power, but like surrender to finding the present moment, so that the tension doesn't have to take over and things can get better. Some of the signs that I look for that I'm on that right track is that I'm able to meditate. I don't carry the tension. I feel like I have a more relaxed demeanor. So I would love to hear from you. When was a time that you surrendered to the process, and how did that help? These videos will be located in the playlist. Why am I not seeing this right now? Because, sometimes that's what happens to me. But I think the playlist is something like, where is it? Why I surrendered when I wanted to feel powerful. See? It happens all the time. And that confusion came up, and because the text wasn't correct on my little teleprompter, and I could have gotten really upset and gotten frustrated and said, oh, I need to redo this. But it's really important to me to be authentic in these videos and just go with what's happening. And yeah, so thank you for that. That practice. I didn't even know I was going to get to practice today. So there you have it. So I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself. I'll see you tomorrow.